morning, everyone. It's a story told about a Jew who once came to the Baal Shem Tov, and he said, why is there so much injustice in the world? So the Baal Shem Tov said, if you want to understand God's ways, go to this particular stream of water in the forest and sit there and you'll witness God's justice in the world. So the Jew went to the stream. He sat down from a distance to watch. And what does he see? He sees the way a traveler comes along, sits down, puts down his money belt, and takes a little nap. And then when he finishes his nap, he wakes up, takes his walking stick and goes on the way and leaves the money bag under the tree, forgets it. A few minutes later, he sees another person come by, and that person also sits down to rest, and he sees the money bag. So, found some money, takes the money bag, and he walks off with the money. Then he sees a third guy come along. He sits down under the tree to rest. While he's resting, the first guy comes back to look for his money. And he says to the guy, did you see my money bag? He says, I didn't see anything, because he didn't. He says, you're lying, you stole my money, give me back my money. He said, I don't know what you're talking about, I didn't see anything. The guy starts beating him up, I want my money back. He starts beating him, he beats the guy black and blue. The guy says, I don't have it. Finally, he leaves. So the Jew comes running back to the Baal Shem and says, you told me I would go there and see justice? This guy lost his money. Second guy walked off with it. And the third guy got a beating for not doing anything wrong. So Baal Shem said, let me explain to you what happened. There's something called Gilgul Neshamot, souls that are reincarnated in this world. He says, let me tell you what happened in a previous lifetime. There were two Jews. One was a rich guy, one was a poor guy. And they got into a financial dispute. And the rich man cheated the poor man out of a certain amount of money. They came to the rabbi and they presented their dispute, but the rabbi wanted to be on the side of the rich man. So instead of judging honestly in favor of the poor man, he ruled in favor of the rich man and allowed the rich man to keep the money unjustly. He says, so what happened? These two souls came back into the world. And the soul of the traveler who lost the money was the soul of the rich man. And he left his money behind. Along came the second guy, who was the soul of the traveler. The traveler was the soul of the guy who lost the previous court case unjustly. And he found the money. So God brought back the money to this person that was due to him. So the guy says to Moshe, what about the third guy? Innocent guy comes under the tree to rest, gets a beating for doing nothing wrong. He says he was the soul of the rabbi who judged incorrectly, and he got his beating for doing what he did wrong. We find in this week's parsha, God metes out justice to the Egyptians, to Paro, to punish them for all the evil they've done. And we know that the blood, the first plague, corresponds to the fact that he drowned the babies. Measure for measure, he starts to punish the Egyptians for what they did wrong. But the Torah says, V'samti pedus, I'll make a distinction between the punishment for the Egyptians, that they should not affect the Jews. Every one of the plagues did not affect the Jews. In the city of Goshen where the Jews lived, the Torah says, none of the plagues took effect. Not only that, but if an Egyptian went to the Nile to take water, it was blood. But if a Jew came to the Nile, the same water that was blood turned into water, good drinking water. Why? Because it was targeted punishment. It wasn't like collective, everyone's going to be affected. Hashem gives each person what they deserve. And therefore the punishment that affected the Egyptians did not affect the Jews whatsoever. But furthermore, we find that the Torah says that the plagues had a dual purpose. On the one hand, it was to punish the Egyptians. But on the other hand, it was to show the Jews the greatness of Hashem. In other words, everything Hashem does in this world is meant and custom made for that person. Everyone receives what they need to receive. And even the lessons you have to learn from every experience is specific to that person. The Egyptians had to learn that Hashem is going to punish you if you do wrong. The Jews had to learn that God is so great and he's going to redeem them. And this is what the rabbis say, that in this world, every person has to say the world was created for me. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people could go through the same experience. Everyone will experience a different reality, but that's meant for them to experience. And every person will learn a different lesson from the same exact experience. But Hashem created that experience to teach one person one lesson and to teach another person another lesson. But a person should understand that everything that happens to them in this world, everything they see, everything they learn, everything they experience was specifically custom made for them alone. Adinech Aves L'man Sitko Yagdil Torah V'Yadir Kadosh Rabbanan.